For jumping on today. This should be a really good call. We have an awesome guest that has volunteered his time to jump on and give us some great information from a top producer. Small background on John. John is in the greater Vancouver area. He has over 15 years experience. He's one of the top producers in his area. Top 1% agent for over 4 years. He's also been a multiple time winner of the Icon Award here at EXP. And he's also, on top of that, built a very successful revenue share downline. He has something over 940 agents at this point. So he crushes it on a daily basis. He does a ton of work. You guys are going to hear about his schedule, how early he wakes up in the morning, and how regimented he is. And we're excited to have him on. Thanks for joining, John.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here, to be able to share and see if I can give you guys some insights to help you guys move forward.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, we were just going to ask you a couple of questions between me and Jay. As a couple of things feed in the chat, I figure we can go from there. Anything you want to open with? Anything I missed about kind of your background and how everything's going up there?
It's 17 years now.
Wow,
in 2006. Yeah. So
not
right getting any younger.
2008.
Got some bumps on me, been through the ups and downs, couple cycles, and been hit. And I'll just say this, everything that I say and share will never be something that I've never done before. I'm going to be totally real with you guys, my struggles, my triumphs, and I'm going to keep it real. So hope it helps.
Beautiful. We appreciate that.
Yeah. And also he's an author as well. And
yes, Jay actually purchased your book, has the book, read the whole thing.
Thank you so much.
John, I'm going to be completely honest. I have problems reading because of my attention span. And I loved how direct and short this book was and to the point. And dude, I'm definitely going to read it more than once. And we're going to ask some questions, but I definitely want to dive into, the book a little bit in regards to when did you start realizing certain things, like in the chapter of the transition of your mindset as your business grew. I would love to kind of tap into that, but but thanks again. Also, and just real quick, guys, is that John is also inside of our RevShare organization. We are linked up, not directly, but we're kind of in the same organization as well. And inside of our Facebook group, Pinnacle Partners, that this is what it is. There's we're linked up by Chris Bear, and you are on the calendar doing some role playing and stuff like that as well. So I've been in there. You did call me out on a for sale by owner one time, and it was I stuttered the hell out of it, but it was great. It was great.
You did great, man. Like nobody really steps up the first time they're on the call. So way to go. Thank you for being there.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to be there more. Because it is, especially when in your book as well, when you talk about, leveling up and surrounding yourself with like-minded people who want to, keep growing and being uncomfortable. So big shout out to that. But Matt, you want to, start off with, some questions and kind of, just kind of see where the conversation goes.
Sure. So, I mean, one of the things I wanted to start with, especially since I saw your Facebook or your Instagram post about it yesterday, was boring being sexy. And I know that from following you on Instagram, you're extremely regimented. You wake up super early in the morning, hours before I wake up. And I just wanted to, if you can give them a little bit about your schedule, your time blocking, the whole boring is sexy. And it sounds like that's a major contributor to your success. So if you could just talk a little bit about that and kind of the mentality that got you there.
Yeah, definitely. So my schedule starts from 4:30 in the morning. I wake up and then, just prep a little bit, pre-workout, celery juice. And then I'm at the gym by around 5 o'clock, about an hour and a half workout, come back, meditate, read 10 pages of a book, and I journal. So that's what I call, well, not what I call, it's from the book Miracle Morning, savers, silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. So scribing is journaling, right? And so I do my savers right in the morning, and by at about 6:30, 7 o'clock, even if my mindset's not so good, I know that I've done the work to get my mindset to a certain level where I can start to get into my day. And then 7 o'clock, 7:30, I have 2 role plays. Now we do them on Clubhouse and Zoom. But before, I would do them privately with another agent, and then I would get on the phone by 8 o'clock. So for myself now, it looks like talking to 10 clients during the day and then 2 agents. Like, but if I have a little bit more time, then I would talk to more clients. But during the week, like for example, right now it's 9 o'clock. So I'm contributing on this call. Then I would get off this call and back to prospecting. And then I have a team meeting after that. Right. And then after lunch, I would do all Zoom calls in the afternoon, whether it be clients or agent attraction. Right. But when I was grinding out 100 to 110 listings a year myself, it would be like that in the morning, 8 to 12. I would talk to 50 people per day, clients. And then in the
50,
afternoon, 50. Yeah.
Okay.
50. And then I would go on 3 listing appointments, 2 to 3 listing appointments a day in the afternoon, and then negotiating offers, after dinner and whatnot, and then be home and done by about 9 o'clock. That would be like a really intense, great listing agent schedule. And the reason why I'm so regimented, that why boring is sexy, is because I want to keep it consistent, persistently consistent every single year, because our emotions in our business is like this, right? You get a client, the client walks away from you. You get a deal, the deal falls out of escrow. You get a happy client, you get an upset client. And that's just like Monday from 7:30 to 8:30 in the morning, right? So if you can't keep your actions and your routine like this, right, then your emotions will go up and down even more like this. And then your income will go up and down more like this. So no matter what happens, right, I'm going to keep my actions consistent. Every single year, I know, okay, if my commitment is to talk to 50 people per day and 2 agents per day, that's what I'm going to do. And I'll never sway away from it, right? I have to have integrity within myself. So if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So if you keep a promise to yourself every single day, and that adds up, it's like adding chips. When you're gambling, you're adding chips to yourself. And those chips are your confidence. If you make a promise to yourself and you kept it, your confidence level goes up, right? And the strength of a salesperson is determined by their mindset, right? And their confidence. And when you work on your mindset and your skills, it attributes to your confidence and your attitude as a salesperson. And that's all we need. So that's why I don't want to go up and down, right, with my actions. I need to keep it boring.
Yep.
And boring leads to making a lot of money. And making a lot of money is sexy. Who wants more money besides myself? Say I.
So, John, can I just jump in? So you're basically, let me reiterate, you're basically saying discipline equals freedom. And, in your morning, or, because that's the only thing you can control. And also, just kind of relating back to your book is, in one of the chapters, detachment. You're detached because you said, our job and our lives and as humans is extremely emotional. So you're only attached to the process. You're not attached to the outcome of the process. The only, you only can control what you can control.
Yeah. So as I got to mature into my career, I was always very attached to the outcome. I would do a lot of things to try to save the deal. I would do a lot of things to do everything I can to prospect. And I would, go out of my integrity to take a listing, buy the listing, cut my commission and all that, because I was so attached to the outcome. And I found that not the later years, but like as I matured in my career, I knew that the more I let go, the things would actually get better and easier, because it's all up here, right? If I hold on too tight, then my experience becomes excruciating. But if I let go, because it's whatever's happened is going to happen anyways, you can only control the controllables. We cannot control inflation. We cannot control interest rates. What we can control is working on our mindset. What we can control is talking to how many people every single day. What we can control is pre-qualifying the client, right, for their motivation. What I can control is how many appointments I go on a day. What I can't control is my schedule. And if I just do that to the best of my abilities, right, do my best and forget the rest, I'm good. And if I just do my job every single day, be attached to the process, be less attached to the results, I'm good. that make sense?
Yes. So I believe that every single human people might think I'm crazy, but have like a superpower. I think every individual person has their own little superpower. Was your superpower the ability to recognize that you had to detach? Um, and how long did it take you in your career to realize that you had to detach? Because I do read in your book how you really were you were comparing yourself to another agent in your office. So I just wanted to kind of ask you that question.
Yeah, this is a great question. I don't think my superpower is actually detachment. Detachment and unattachment was something that I had to work on as I matured in my business. My superpower is actually being super consistent and never giving up, right? And it kind of stemmed from, my upbringing. My father was very hard on me. He would always tell me, you'll amount to no good, you're useless, you're not going to become anything. Look at you, you're lazy. And then I was bullied in high school, bullied in elementary school. So I always had a chip on my shoulder. And I knew that if I just never gave up, that I always step up to the plate, that I always do my job every single day, that I know it's not if I will succeed, it's a matter of when I will hit and break through. Right. But detachment is something that I worked at because I knew that I was always working hard, but very attached to the outcome. But I found out that the more I let go, the better it becomes and the better it flows. So if you are taking massive action right now, you got to let it go. After you take that massive action, you just got to say, hey, you know what? I've done my job today. And if you let go, it'll come a little bit easier. I don't know if it's magic or it just feels like a little bit easier because you're just like, hey, I'm good. Right. But if you're like, oh, when is that closing going to come? Oh, I wish it would come. Oh, now I'm going to call the lender right now and ask them, oh, how come you guys aren't, rushing the mortgage, blah, 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 doing that is, you're attached to the outcome. So business maturity, guys, is the distinction between committed to your business and being attached to the outcome. So which is it for you right now? Think about that.
I love it. It's like sitting there and waiting for a pot to boil, and it feels like it's taking forever. And if you walk away and do a couple of things, like you said, and kind of detach, it happens faster than you expect it to happen.
Absolutely.
One thing I want to harp on, kind of you talking about the 50 calls when you started getting to that 100+ deals, whether it's listings, purchases per year. There's newer agents on this call. There's agents that are just getting back into the business. And I know it's very easy to say, John is a one-off. He's an animal. He's making $50 a day. I can't do something like that. And even if I want to, who am I calling? Where am I getting these lists from? Where do I find the motivation? Can you give us just like high level view? You don't have to go too granular, but just who you were making those dials to, how it started turning into 1, 2, 3 listing appointments a day, several a week, and kind of how long you started doing that before you really started seeing consistent results, where if you took your foot off the pedal and didn't do 50 dials, maybe you did 10, 15, 20, and it was still coming in because there's more of a referral basis and your name was out there at that point.
Yeah, great question. I didn't start at 50, Matt. Right. It had to start somewhere. And when I first started calling, it was just listed, just sold, because that's the only script that I knew how to go about, how to practice. And that was the first script that I practiced. So I made 5 calls a day. Right. And then it became 10 the next year, and it became 15, became 20. Right. And then I started going into expired listings for sale by owners. And then I started building a little bit more of a database, and I went past clients and center of influence. So it all added up. Right. And by the time I was doing 50, it was like 10 expireds in the morning, 5 FISBOs in the morning. And then I go to my past clients, and I would finish off the rest of the 20 with a just listed, just sold. I got into a little bit of contactitis. It was more of a numbers game than it was a quality game. So I would encourage you guys, if you want to do the 50, be super intentional. I don't think, many people have to do 50 contacts a day. It just depends on your goal. And sometimes if you want to do 100 deals and your database is already at 1,000, you don't need to make that many dials. The reason why I went 50 is because I wanted to build that database. And now I only talk to 10 people per day, and we're doing 200 deals. Right. So I hope that makes sense. And yeah, so I kept it very simple in my business. It was always for sale by owners, expired listings, just listed, just sold, past clients, center of influence. right? And then I added some for sale by for rent by owners as well at the end there. And then now that I'm not prospecting as much, I buy leads through Prime Seller Leads and Google Pay-Per-Click and Property Boost through KV Core, and I give them to our team, and then they convert from that. I've actually never converted online leads at a high level, right? So I hope that helps break it down for you.
Definitely. John, can you elaborate what it was kind of like when you were making in the beginning, when you were only making 5 dials a day? Were you kind of like, I just got to do this. I just got to get 5. Like, was your mindset like, I just got to get past these 5 and then I can breathe? Like, what was your mindset when you first started?
I was so scared of cold calling. I would pick up the phone, and I was alone I remember in the office, I would pick up the phone, I would look around to see if anybody's watching me. And then I would dial the number, and I look at the number, I look at the name, and I was like, I dial the number and I hang up. And the next day I would pick up the phone and dial the number, at a ring, and then I hang up. And the next day I would dial the number, and then someone answered, and I would hang up. Right. But then I had to start somewhere, and I progressed. And every single day I would be chanting my scripts, 2 to 3 hours a day. When do you plan on moving? 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 How long have you lived at this address? How long have you lived at this address? So then when I called, it was then automatic. Right. But I had to work. I had to start somewhere. So if you're scared right now, cold calling, if you're scared to even call your past clients, work on your scripts and dialogues. Practice with your accountability buddy and role play partner, and get better at it. Work on your skills and mindset every day. You got to start somewhere. I didn't start at 50 contacts a day. You got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I've said to numerous agents that, real estate is real estate. It's the process, right? It doesn't change that much. The clients that you deal with or the type of property will change. But I do believe that real estate is the gauntlet. And what I mean by that is that it will expose any particular weakness that you have as an individual. Then it is your choice whether or not you are going to improve that skill or let that skill own you for the rest of your career. I think it's really like real estate will make you make a decision whether or not you're going to personally grow or you're going to stay stagnant in this industry. That it's tough. It's a mental game, I believe.
Well, I've never done any other business before, Jay, but I believe that real estate sales is 95% mindset and 5% mechanics, what you do and what you say. If you don't have it right up here, you're not going to go out there and produce. And you're taking the actions, but they're not intentional because your mindset, you haven't worked on your mindset. It's different when you're going on a call and you're like, hi, my name is John, and I'm just calling as a click, right? Versus if your mindset's on fire, man, my name is John, and I'm calling to see when do you plan on moving? Gosh, it didn't matter what you say. It's how you say it, how energetic and enthusiastic you are. If I came on the call today, guys, and I was like, hi, guys. Oh, boy, the mindset's not so good today, but I'm going to be here to contribute to you guys. Hope you guys have a great time. No! I got to be fired up so you guys can be fired up. And if you want business, if you want a lot of money, you got to be energetic, enthusiastic with your clients. You got to show up. Hope that makes sense. That's just to pump myself up, by the way. Thank you.
No, I love it. I love it. One of the best salesmen I knew who was in financial sales, he had a saying of, we're in the business of awkward. If you do not feel awkward on a daily basis, you are most likely not growing. When you're sitting in your comfort zone, you're growing at a snail's pace. And if you want something you've never had, you got to do something you've never done and get out there and make the dials, put them on the mailing list, reach out to your sphere of influence. So I think it's a ton of great advice.
I think so. And if you're not rejected at a high level, you're probably not doing the hard things in your business. Right? Do one thing uncomfortable in your business every single day to make yourself grow. I know that if I'm too comfortable, I'm probably not growing, right? If you only do the easy stuff in your business will be really hard. But if you're willing to do the hard stuff in your business, then your business will be really easy. But you got to do the hard things every single day. That's why the one more thing that I do to embrace the suck is that I take a freaking ice cold shower every single day. And it's like, oh my God, not again. But after that, I'm like, okay, I can take on the day now,
I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, in your book, you say failing is only success in progress. So all about the right mindset. You haven't learned, if you haven't learned to lose, you have to learn to lose in order to win.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
The first rule of success is make it okay to fail. And that relates to being unattached to the outcome, right? You have to get hit. You have to have setbacks to know how to move forward, right? It's always taking one step back and two steps forward. You're going to get hit. If you are in the business to expect not to get hit, then you're only going to make this much income. But if you really want to make a lot of income, you got to get hit a lot more. So you got to be okay to fail, and you got to keep moving forward. No matter how many times you get knocked down, you got to be enthusiastically getting back up every single day. And you know what, Jay, Matt, and the group, last year I got fat, lazy, and complacent in the head. We made so much money and I was out of production. I went and spent the money. I bought a $2 million house. I didn't sell my last condo. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to throw money at problems. I'm going to hire this coach, hire that coach to coach my team, coach my group, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, market drops by 50%. And then I spent all the money, right? And then my accountant calls me and says, John, please remit $380,000 into your tax account. I'm like, I don't have it. Right. So within all that, it's like, be humble, be okay to fail. And that was a small failure, right?
Yeah.
And
that's
go ahead.
John, that's really interesting because reading your book, do you think that because it seems like it's kind of like a cycle. Like in your book, you mentioned that you were $80,000 in debt at one point. You were maxing out your credit cards. You hired a coach. Then you started making money, and then you bought a house. You bought cars that you necessarily couldn't afford at that time, or they were going to really leverage you. But you almost like, from reading your book, it almost is like you were just kicking the ball down the road and catching up to it. Is that kind of like, do you think you play games mentally like that with yourself to increase your business, or almost put your back up against a wall at points in your career?
Last year was unintentional, Jay. But I almost think that I do operate a little bit better with some urgency and back against the wall. And my mentor locally here, Bob Rennie, this dude back in the day sold 365 homes as a single agent. And he told me that if you have cash flow, you don't need a cash balance. So always be, investing your money so you don't have a big cash balance because you feel complacent. But be smart, be safe, stop doing stupid shit with your money, right? But you also can't keep too much cash balance in your bank, or else you're going to be like, I could make 50 calls today, but I don't really have to, right? So always be playing mind tricks on you. And for myself, when I get a big mortgage, I get my ass in gear. When I don't have a mortgage, I was like, so I kind of have to play games with myself. And that's me. I don't recommend anybody, like, if you don't have the capacity to do that, to stomach that, don't do that. Do other stuff to make yourself motivated. And I don't know what it is for you, but stay out of complacency as much as possible. Defeat complacency at all cost. Complacency is the disease of the human mind. Don't let yourself get there, because it can get ugly fast, and money can go fast. I found out this past fall.
Trust me, we've all been there at one point or another. Maybe not to the same levels, but everyone's definitely been there. And I know, John, you keep a vision board, correct? I mean, I know everybody has different goals, everybody has different whys, but I think that's one of the things that you pointed out that could be helpful to a lot of people, having that vision board and kind of like, what do you throw on there? What's kind of motivating you right now?
I threw the Lamborghini on there, and I threw, other stuff that I wanted, the house and all that. Right now, I don't have those things on there. So I have to create a new one, right? I do write a check for myself, and this year would be 6 million on that check. And last year when I wrote this check to myself, 4 million, and then I achieved it. I write achieved, and I keep it here as my victory file. right here. And then
Love
the
that.
next one, I have it upstairs is a $6 million check. And then for my rev share dashboard, I just have this up here. I'm almost there. And, I keep my goals in front of me every single day. I write on how old school am I? Pay off my mortgage 2023. I just keep it right in front of me. So goals, pictures. And then sometimes you guys, when you buy the stuff, when you achieve those material goals, it becomes empty and meaningless sometimes. So really find out like what really drives you, what really inspires you. Sometimes you get those material goals, you feel empty. That's why I would say, let go and enjoy the journey instead of the destination, because I was always about the destination. I was like, oh, we got to make $1 million this year. And I worked 7 days a week, 12, 14-hour days. Once we hit that million, I was like, yes. And then the next thought was, we're going 1.5 next year. Right. But it never ends, guys. It never ends. And whatever goal that you guys declared right now that you have in your mind, it's a done deal. You just have to put in the actions and be patient. But if you're not patient, it'll push it farther away from you. But enjoy the journey. I want to tell you guys this story. So we just went to Maui Mastermind. And one of the days I was in the seminar, and my wife took my 2 kids and our other friends to this place called Road to Hana. You guys ever been there in Maui? No? Okay. Road to Hana is beautiful. And my wife thought, okay, well, we're going to get to Road to Hana, and it's going to be a beautiful, heavenly looking place. So she slept the whole way there, a winding road. And then when she woke up, wow, it's like this piece of shit village that nobody cares about. And then my friend told my wife, Crystal, you were sleeping the whole time? Wow. Road to Hana is the journey. The views are during the trip. You missed it all. So don't miss the journey to get to that shitty place. You call it $1 million, 100 deals, 1,000 agents in your organization, whatever it is. Enjoy that road there. I hope that makes sense.
I've taken the road to Hana. I couldn't get my mic on. First, I do not know how your wife slept, because those are some of the most treacherous hairpin turns, skinny roads I've ever been on in my life. My wife had a permanent hand mark on the seat from how tightly she was holding on. And it was truly amazing. I mean, you go through meadows, rainforests, all these different types of biospheres. That was really one of the most incredible things I've driven on. So I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Sure.
Hey, John, I wanted to you mentioned also in your book, don't compare yourself to others, and also blind faith. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit on both of those as well.
Yeah, don't compare yourself to others. What I did was when I wasn't comparing myself to others, that one year, 2015, I was, just doing my 50 calls a day, right? And then I took the number of listings that I hit my goal for number of listings. Then we hit the goal of $500,000 GCI that year. I was like, oh, yay, great. It was awesome. Whatever, we hit our goal. And I'm like really happy with myself. And then our company says, wow, John, did you know that you beat everyone in the company? You were number 1 in 2015. And I beat my mentors. The top 2 agents in our company were my mentors. I used to work for these guys. And then the next year, I was like watching that list like a hawk. I was like, oh, I can't let Selena and Danny beat me now. All right, go, 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 go. Sure enough, I was number 1 again in 2016, but 2017, I burnt out. I was keeping eye on them instead of focusing on my own actions and production. And that's the wrong way to go. You don't have competition. Your only competition is you from yesterday. If you just become 1% better every single day, that's all it matters. Who cares what other people are doing? They have their own thing. Don't compare your chapter 1 or 3 to their chapter 30. Doesn't even matter. It matters that you grow. If you ever want to look at other people, say this: if they can do it, I can do it. Let it inspire you instead of push you down. Now, as it relates to blind faith, I think about 2008 when there was no deals coming in. It was 6 months without a deal, and I was $80,000 in debt. And my coach, Mike Ferry, said, you need to have blind faith. So you know what? I kept my head down. I just prospected. I went on appointments. I did whatever it took right? And maxed out all these, from credit card to credit card, transferring from this card to this card, 6 months, no interest. I was like, okay, let me do it. But once I got that out of the way, I just kept my head down and I kept working, and it worked out. 2009 March, we had a string of just hot streak, just 33 deals in the next 9 months. And I knew that, okay, then I truly realized blind faith works. You just need to be patient, and you just need to keep your head down and keep working. And when you do good work, you will get paid. But if you focus on the money, if you push it farther away from you, if you focus on providing great customer service and value, the money will come naturally. So if you don't have a lot of money right now, if you don't have a lot of sales right now, get to work. Pick up the phone and dial somebody and ask them if they need help. That's all.
Mhm. Amazing. We do have a couple questions. The work schedule makes sense. How does your day-to-day day/week look incorporating family and friends? That's from our man Shiv, who's on the call.
Shiv, thank you for the question. And this is a big thing that I need to incorporate back into my life, is that I missed out the first 2 years of my older daughter's life, grinding away EXP. I was talking to 50 people per day and then doing a lot of agent attraction. Literally was all day long, double time. And you need to schedule your work life around your family life, guys. And I learned this the hard way, because last week my wife told me, oh, Zoe, my older daughter, her assignment in class was to draw a family portrait. And in the family portrait, the piece of paper was like this big. And she drew mom, herself, Kaylee, her younger sister, and our dog, Sheldon. And the teacher asked her, where's daddy? She said,
didn't make the cut?
I didn't make the cut. She said,
Yeah.
the paper's not big enough, Mrs. Kaylee. And I was like, wow, talk about not taking it personally. How do you not take that personally? I mean, and that's that's just a reality, is that I have no connection with my older daughter. So as it relates to schedule, now I have to think, okay, well, when I'm done my work, I got to put my phone away and spend a good hour or two playing with the kids to make that connection. It's like, if I'm watering this plant, the plant will grow. If I'm nurturing my clients will stay. And if I don't, I won't. Same with my daughter. So I learned that the hard way. And, I'm growing and I'm learning as well. And that's what I'm going to work on. Family first. Social life. I'm lucky that a lot of my friends do business with me. And when they don't do business with me, I don't spend as much time, but I will give them my time. Because some people are just good people that you want to surround yourself with. They might have another realtor, right? That they're loyal to, and that's okay, right? I'm okay with that, right? But do be selective with your time, and you have to have a hobby. I don't, and that's how you burn out. I hope that makes sense.
It definitely
I
does.
love it.
Definitely.
Yeah, especially the family stuff. We've been trying to do that more and more. My son is 6 and I have an 8-month-old, and my 6-year-old, every once in a while, when you're really busy, Daddy, put the phone down. That kind of breaks your heart. They're only little ones. So I like that you threw that in there. And making time is tough, but you got to remember, at the end of the day, most of the people in here are probably doing it for those people. So you got to make time for those people.
Definitely.
Presence.
John, I want to kind of segue into, I think that's a really good question about, family and friends, and making time for them. But you also talk about eliminating negative people, or people that are going to, hold you back in your personal growth and in the growth of your career. Can you kind of touch base on that as well?
Yeah. I asked my mentor, Bob Rennie, this a while ago, and I was leveling up pretty quickly, and I was, trying to get to the next level. I was like, should I cut people off? Right. And he said, sometimes, yes, you have to. Right. But what I found throughout this experience is that as you level up, they naturally will distance themselves away from you. I remember distinctly having very vividly with this a conversation with my friend who was so negative. I love the guy, but every time I got together with him, he'd be like, you know, man, things aren't just aren't working out, man. I just don't know where I should go. And, you know, my job, I just got fired again. And man, I want to start this business, but it just haven't come to fruition. And he's like, why do you hang out with me, John? That hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, oh shit.
Wow, he said that.
He said that.
Wow.
But I still made the time for Adam because I love the guy. But naturally, guys, as you level up, you just don't align anymore. And the energies are different. You just start to part ways naturally. So you don't actually have to intentionally cut people off. As you level up, you attract new people in your life. And those who don't want to grow, they'll just slowly wither away from your life. That's my experience anyway. Hope that makes
Gotcha.
sense.
It does. It definitely does. We do have a question from John Topic. Do you feel it's difficult to detach yourself when you have lofty goals? This is something I struggle with. I become hyper focused on achieving that, and I take setbacks pretty hard. So having extremely high goals, and do you think that could be? Do you think it's better to have smaller goals or having lofty goals? And how can that be either one? How can that be a detriment to your progress in your career?
This is always like $1 million question. Should I just go for the BHAG or should I go realistic? Right. And I would say that you have a BHAG, but you have to take baby steps. And if you set a goal too high sometimes and you give yourself also an unrealistic timeline, that's when your ego goes, no way you're going to do that. And when that doubt comes into your mind, you're finished. So you have to start somewhere. You can have fear about your goals because it kind of shakes you a little bit. Oh, a little bit scared about it. But if doubt seeps into your mind, then that's not good. You can have fear, but don't have doubt, right? So I have a friend, Eddie Oberoi from San Jose. When we were making about $1 million GCI, he was like always affirming that 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. And that was 2015, 16. And I was like, man, that's freaking impossible, right? And then he's like, I don't care. I'm not attached to it. I don't care. I say 2.5, and this year, if I make 1.2, I'm good. And sure enough, every year from then on, it was 1.2, 1.2, 1.2, 1.2. And then last year, he made 3.5 million.
Wow.
And we made 3.8 million GCI. I was like, Eddie, it all came true. But we weren't attached to that. We were just like having fun, enjoying the daily grind and enjoying the journey. And then sure enough, when you have that BHAG, you just got to give it time. When we have a BHAG, we want to do it in 1 year, then your ego will go, I don't believe you. And when that ego comes in and tells you, I don't believe you, then you're finished. So John, does that help? Okay.
Love it.
Baby.
There's one question I have for you that I know a lot of people, I always joke around that we're in a business of shiny objects. I'm guilty of it. I did it many times throughout my career because I had no mentor. We all spend money on leads in various forms, social media, PPC, different organizations that create them. And I try and tell people, especially people starting out in the business, is do not discount your sphere of influence. These are the warmest leads in your life. These are the people that are most likely to refer you. I know that you were making a lot of various calls in the beginning, especially when you worked your way up to 50 dials a day. What did it look like? Because I hear a lot of pushback, Matt, I want to call my sphere, but I don't want it to sound salesy. I don't want it to sound like I'm begging for business. I'm not asking for your exact script, but like, what can you speak to those people of, hey, I'm nervous to make those calls because I don't want to breach the boundary of friendship and come off as a salesperson. They're like, oh, I don't know if I want to answer Matt's calls anymore because he's only calling me to find business. Like, what were those kind of like for you? And did you ever run into that?
I definitely ran into that. And a lot of times I sweat no matter what. For sale by owner scared the crap out of me. And sometimes there are friends that I call that I just don't want to ask business from. But at the same time, I know that if I provide value, then it'll come naturally. So if I use a script, so why don't we do this, Matt? Let me call you. So ring, ring.
Hi, this is Matt.
Hey, Matt, it's John from EXP. How are you?
Hey, John, I'm doing good. How about you?
Good, man. It's a quick call about real estate. Do you have a quick moment?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect.
What's going
And
on?
the Bank of Canada just announced that they're going to hold the rates for the next little while after 8 rises. So I'm curious, do you have any questions about the interest rates right now and about the real estate market in general?
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, that was one of the fastest hikes we've seen in history. And I'm like everybody else. I kind of want to know when it's going to stop and when this market's going to turn a little bit.
Yeah, we all wonder about that. Now it's starting to settle down a little bit. And Matt, while I have you on the phone, I'm also wondering, since the market has settled down a bit, who do you know that might be looking to sell or perhaps buy a home that I may be able to help?
Absolutely. I could probably think of a couple people off the top of my head. Maybe I could shoot them to you a little later.
Fantastic. I look forward to it. Again, Matt, I just want to say thank you for your past business and all your referrals and introductions. I really appreciate all your support in our business. Make it a great day, man, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it, John.
Yeah, I would probably go back into, hey, you guys have been in the house, 7 years now. When do you guys plan on moving potentially?
Yeah, especially if it's a past client that you helped. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. So I hope that script helps a little bit. This is the Mike Ferry script. What I added in there was the value in the very beginning, right? Because the script goes right into who do you know that's thinking about buying, selling, or investing that I can help. But if you do that without any value, they're like, oh, John's only calling me for referrals or business. Instead of, okay, have you heard about the Bank of Canada announcement today? Do you have any questions for me? And a lot of times seasonally, I would say, okay, well, now it's snowing, now the grass is very long. Like, do you guys have the right people to take care of your lawn, right people for, this and that, right? Contractors. So every season I have a different theme.
That part I love because that develops the reciprocity of, hey, he gave value, whether it was through a referral or a market update. And I feel like those are very easy things. Being in the business that we're in, we all have a ton of referrals we can give out to people for the most part. So I definitely like the whole value add first and then having the business conversation.
We are the center of influence in our community. We know the most people because we go out there so much that we can have a list of vendors for our clients. I call my B's and C's every once a quarter and my A's every month, right? That's kind of my scale. And then I hired this guy out of Ontario. He, does these automatic texts to my clients. It's like a drip campaign through text, automatic CMAs, and also home evaluation requests, all that. So we've been able to cultivate our database that way as well. So that does not take place of you actually connecting with your clients. So last month, we also did our first client party in a very long time because of COVID. And we had about 300 people through. Some people, wow. Yeah, so it was very good. And obviously, even if I get no referrals from it, I know is, the goodwill that I built with them, the good feelings that they have about our team, it's priceless. So I would recommend that you guys do that as well.
What did that look like where you had such a big turnout? Where did you hold it? Was that like a bar restaurant or was it a location type of thing to have 300 people there?
Yeah, it's a lounge, but at night it's a nightclub, and they provided, seafood platter, finger foods, and we hired a musician. We have a 360 camera and a face painter for kids, and it was just a good time. And it was only 2 hours. Cost me $21,000.
But like you said, it's worth it. I mean, out of 300 people, if you close even $1 million deal, the whole thing paid for itself. And I'm sure that we're going to get more than that out of it. So
exactly. Yeah. That's right.
Hey guys, I want, we're coming up on the last 15 minutes and I want to kind of switch gears in regards to, we've been talking about, transactional business. Our organization that we are part of is unique, right? There's a lot more opportunity inside of the EXP model in regards to obviously transactions, caps, icons, but also revenue share. There's a large, I would say there's a large portion of EXP agents who come into EXP and just seriously focus on doing just transactions, and they don't really maximize the whole opportunity of the model. So, John, if you could, obviously you understand the model to its fullest potential because you've been taking advantage of it. There are people on this call who understand the model to its fullest potential and have implemented that into their day-to-day operations. Want to kind of touch, you mentioned earlier in the call that you at least reach out to 2 agents a day. Can you elaborate a little bit on what that looks like? What is your follow-up? Do you have any automated systems? And what is your what have you seen the best ROI in approaches in regards to, agent attraction and revenue share?
So when I first started getting into agent attraction, got into EXP, I told all my friends that I knew. I was so excited, right? So I texted and a call, man, I just joined EXP. They're like, oh, what's EXP? I don't know, man. Come and have a look. Like, we're doing this Zoom call, man. Like, you got to just come check it out. Just trust me. Just check it out, bro. Right. And then sure enough, that energy and enthusiasm coming right out of the gate, people are like, damn, like, I understand it. And some people are like, no, man, this is a pyramid scheme. Okay, no problem. Who else? Right. And after four years and some, I've spoken to, this is my iPhone notes, 1,487 people. And out of the 1,487 people, I've recruited a total of 90 FLA, of which 68 still remain with the company, and 41 FLQA, and a total group of 958 people. Right.
Wow.
So, and I'll say this, like, yes, I was in the business for about 13 years before I got to EXP. So I had a sphere of agents that I already knew, but I've seen brand new agents come into this business to EXP and just, put their head down, reach out to agents, and they build the revenue share that they want. It really depends on what you want. My goal was always to get to 1,000. I gave myself 3 years. It's taken 4 to get close to, 1,000. But I hit my goal. So you just got to be a little bit patient. Every goal that I've ever set, guys, it took longer than expected. I wanted to be a millionaire, net worth of $1 million by age 30. I was 35 when I hit that. Right? I wanted to do 100 deals. It took me, from declaring it 5 years until I hit that. And then it took me another 5 years to go from top 10% team to go to top 1% team. Every year I was like, oh, I didn't hit it this year. Okay, I'm gonna try next year. Right. So again, it's a matter of when, not if. Same with agent attraction. But here's the thing. If you stop talking to agents, your agent attraction will stop. Pretty simple, right? So don't stop.
Yeah.
I know right now I have an accountability every single day with my accountability buddy. And if I don't talk to 2 agents per day, I give her $100, and she does the same thing for me. Right. So that's how we move each other forward. Every accountability, every habit that I've ever built was through paying somebody money, because I'm always a type of person that's away from pain. So I tell you guys this little story. If you want to change your schedule, try this. I was going into the office 10 o'clock every single day, and my assistant would get in there by 8 o'clock. And after about 6 months after I hired her, she's like, what are you doing from 8 to 10? And I was like, oh, shit, shower, shave, shit some more, read. I don't know. I was just freaking around, right? And I was like, okay, you know what? Make you a promise, make you a bet. Actually, if I don't get in before you, I pay you $1,000 every day. And that was 2012. And until COVID hit, I hit my goals. I got in right before her, no matter what. And I remember, maybe we'll have a little bit more time. I'll tell you a little story. This is how intense accountability is that I remember on a Thursday afternoon, sorry, it was a Tuesday afternoon. We went out drinking because I'm so stressed out, and I black out. And I wake up, I live in downtown Vancouver. I wake up on my mom's couch in Burnaby, which is 30 minutes away. I had no idea how I got there. It was 6:30 in the morning, and I'm hung over. And I'm like, okay, I gotta get home and I gotta get ready. I made it to the office by 7:58.
You were contemplating writing that $1,000, that $1,000
I was
check.
contemplating, is this worth it? Right. And then I said, no, it's not worth it. So I got to the office. I was still very sick. I printed out the offer and I drove another 45 minutes to the seller's house. No DocuSign back then. I presented the offer. The seller accepted the offer. I went outside and I puked on the seller's lawn.
Oh man.
If that's not motivation and dedication, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Oh man, that's classic. That's a story, man. That goes in your next book.
And I do like the money holding you accountable. It's very easy to say, oh, push it off to the next day, push it off to the next day. But if you make an accountability partner and you're going to give them $100 a day, 50, 20, whatever the case is, that's going to add up. And one of two things are going to happen. You're going to do it and stop, or you're going to say, I got to stop paying you because I'm just never going to do it. So I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. But I also, rev share, like when you're calling these two agents, are these agents that you have done transactions with in the past? Are they agents that you just know that are in the marketplace? And what is usually your opening line?
So now it's more so switched to social media DM, either LinkedIn or Instagram. Those are the two platforms where most agents are following me and I'm following them. So I would, to team leaders, I would just text them, hey, man, you guys are crushing it. You guys are doing really well. And I'm just curious, we're looking to partner with some strong teams here at EXP. Wondering if you and your team leader or team members have ever looked at the EXP model to see if it can improve your bottom line. Right. And I'd love to have a conversation about a potential collaboration if you are open. And, it's a very, sometimes it's like, yeah, man, we have taken a look at it. We're good for now. Or sometimes it's like, no, thank you. Or sometimes it's like, man, yeah, actually, I haven't taken a look, but I'd be open to chatting about it. I'm not saying we'll move, but I'm open to chat about it. And the same script would be for an agent. Hey, man, looking like you're crushing it out there. I've been meaning to reach out, and we're looking to partner with some strong agents here locally at EXP. I'm just curious if you'd be open to a conversation about collaboration.
Yep. I killed it. That's how I use my line. I always use the words open for two reasons. No one wants to be closed off. And if it's a true entrepreneur, they're always open to information, right? So the reason why you use that word is that you're answering two questions in one word. One, if you're a true entrepreneur, and if they're open to information and growth. So yeah, open. I love the word open. So awesome.
We're coming up on 5 minutes. Anybody have any questions from the chat? I know a couple of people dropped them in there, and John's given us a ton of great information, so maybe he's answering them along the way. But anybody have anything they want to run by John while we have him on the Zoom?
Yeah, please open up your mics if anyone wants to go nuts and start asking questions. Agent insurance.
I use very script for my whole career. And of course, it's morphed into, other, methods, other people that have added to it. But basically the outline of all those scripts are Mike Ferry based. And if you want a copy, I can send it to Matt. Actually, I'll send it to you right now, and you can forward it to the group.
Thank you. Absolutely. And Shiv dropped in there. Do you have any automations? I know in this day and age, everyone wants to set up an automation as much as possible, especially since follow-up is such a big part of a sales business. Anything in particular you're using, or is it just 100% you're keeping track of them and you're making your dials on a daily and weekly basis?
My agent attraction is the same thing. I talk to all my lists, and then I have some hot leads that I reach out to, and I would just reach out to them whenever I feel like there's some value that I can give them. So if they're local to me, I would invite them to an event that we're doing. Right. And I do weekly trainings. I have 8 trainings a week, and one of them is live local. I would always invite them to that. But I don't have any drip campaigns that's very sexy or anything like that. I'm a low tech guy, and it's worked out okay. Obviously, it's better if you have the tech behind you, the drip campaign, the click funnels. I can never figure it out, but I think I'm doing okay right now. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing.
I was just going to say 940 something agents. I think you're doing something right.
Thank you.
I do have a question. I have a brother and sister-in-law who are in real estate in a neighboring city, and I want to ask them to look at joining EXP, but I'm scared to death to do it. What do I do?
Yeah. I would just ask them. So let's role play this. Let's say you're my sister. Okay. So ring.
Hey, I've been working with EXP, and it's a really great company. I just wondered, would you be open to hearing about it?
Yeah, I heard about it already, but how are you doing there?
Well, I'm brand new, so I haven't made any deals yet, but I really like the company structure.
Well, good. I'm happy for you. Good for you.
See, I think it's because I haven't done any deals yet. I don't,
This is good. This is good. Can I share something with you? Because
Yeah.
in consideration of time, is that we are not there to convince them to do anything that they don't want to do or want to do. We're there to invite them to see an opportunity for themselves, right? I'm okay with you saying no to EXP, but I'm not okay with you saying no to EXP when you know nothing about it. So I'm here doing my job, sharing with you an opportunity, right? To have them on a live EXP explain call. They can decide for themselves whether or not it's good. And after you see the presentation for about half an hour, you'll give me one of two answers. Number one is, I'm good. I got the top to bottom, all the information about EXP. I'm good. I'm not moving. Or number two, this sounds interesting. Let's have another chat. In which case you can call Jay or Matt to help you along with a three-way call. Fair enough?
yes,
Definitely.
thank you.
Invite,
Can I just-
invite. That's all you got to do.
And back to what
Definitely.
John said about the monotone and the positive mindset, I feel like a lot of agents will, like, they ask you how you're doing. And you, well, I haven't done any deals yet. I'm brand new. Get away from any negativity. No, I'm not doing any deals. No, I'm not sure yet. If EXP is where you're there for multiple reasons. It's not just for deals. EXP is amazing. They give me 20, 50, 60 trainings per week that I can go into. They have recordings. They have great masterminds like we're on the one right now. Their broker support is excellent. All of these different things where you can start going into positives. I'm getting revenue share. I have stock awards. I have such a better opportunity than I had at my last place. Is that something you might be interested in? Being able to take your family on another vacation every year, make another mortgage payment, whatever the case may be. Try and step away from I'm brand new, because you're making something that's already difficult harder for yourself. I don't know how John feels about all that, but
No,
I
that's
feel like
great.
don't start a conversation with a negative if you don't have to.
Yep. I just want to elaborate. Yeah. Make sure that it doesn't matter how many transactions you do or how many transactions you haven't done or how long you've been in the business or how long you haven't been in the business. Human nature and 90% of humans are always going to go into a negative mindset or a negative notion about themselves. So just be conscious of how you frame things. Like, if you are a brand new agent, you haven't closed any deals, it's basically, hey, EXP has given me the solid foundation to build an amazing career inside of this organization. And another thing I would like to add is what John said about agents who don't know about EXP and who they say no to, they don't even know what they're saying no to. And then the second thing as well is that there is so much misinformation out there about EXP as well, that I've also incorporated in what I'm telling agents is if I start feeling pushback on certain things, I go, listen, there's a ton of misinformation. I would love to clear some things up for you to make sure you know exactly what you're saying no to as well, if I get pushback in regards to that. Because there's a lot of brokerages out there these days that don't want to see us succeed because there's so much value given to agents to maximize their time, the return on their time.
Mhm.
And we're about on the number right now. I know John is probably itching because he has that regimented schedule, so I don't want to take any more of his valuable time. I wanted to say thank you very much. It was a ton of great information. I know you don't have to do these things, so we really appreciate you taking the time, and also everybody who jumped on. Hopefully it was valuable. We're going to post this in Pinnacle Partners. John already sent me the scripts because he just does things that fast, and I will send that out to the group. But yeah, thank you everybody for jumping on, and especially John for all the great information. We really appreciate it.
All the best to you guys. Jay, Matt, thank you for the opportunity. Make it a great 2023. We'll see you all at the Shareholder Summit. All the best, guys.
Thank you,
Bye.
buddy.
Take care, John.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
day, everyone.
Bye-bye.